Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive.
Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. Before discussing game weeks 36 and 37, a quick mention of OneFootball, who have very kindly sponsored this video. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. The world's best football news app has just been made even better, relaunching with a fresh new design. Gain access to news, scores and stats from leagues all over the world with a brand new interface that's cleaner, simpler and smarter than ever. As for FPL, follow each team in the Premier League and get live updates from all the goals and assists every game week. Download it for free using the link in the description box below. There's still one game to go for game week 36, with West Ham facing Watford in a relegation 6-pointer this evening. But all of my squad have already played this week, and unfortunately it was yet another unmitigated disaster. Although providing a late assist, Matt Doherty was benched, Charlie Taylor went off injured in the first half, and my Liverpool pair of Mo Salah and Alexander-Arnold delivered just 2 points against an Arsenal side who had made 5 changes in preparation for the FA Cup. Since buying both De Bruyne and Phil Foden 3 game weeks ago, Man City have since scored 12 goals in that time, and this pair still only have 1 assist between them. With De Bruyne missing out completely against Bournemouth, in came Calvert-Lewin automatically for me, who's now blanked in 7 consecutive game weeks since buying him. The Everton frontman produced 41 points in the previous 7 game weeks before buying him, and that's been a similar story throughout my season, constantly on the wrong side of players' form and never able to time their purple patch. A prime example of this is Mason Greenwood, who was consistently outperforming Rashford but has now provided 2 blanks in 2 since making the straight swap. And with Rashford now hitting form, that move hasn't gone well at all so far. If I make quick reactionary transfers, the players I sell then hit form, and on the other hand, the players I choose to stay patient with continue to fire blanks. The only positive from game week 36 is that United continued their consistent run of form, with Anthony Martial impressing once again. Lately, it seems to be every week that United save my game week, but they're all such popular options in FPL that points from them don't really help much in terms of my overall ranking. So what I felt looked a very solid team for game week 36 has brought home a pitiful 38 points. It's of course another red arrow keeping me just outside the top million, and fortunately there's only 2 game weeks left of this misery. Let's move on to game week 37 now and discuss a few players potentially coming into the squad. Also, if you enjoy the content here at FPL TV, then be sure to drop a like and most importantly get subscribed. You can also hit the notification bell so you always know when a new video goes live. With 2 game weeks of the season remaining, and therefore no longer having to think about long-term decisions, this looks like a chance to finally sell Calvert-Lewin, who has looked utterly abysmal since the restart. With 7.3 million to spend, and with Burnley having 2 decent fixtures to end the season, initially it was the informed Jay Rodriguez who I was set to bring in. But with him now being an injury concern, my focus turns to his teammate Chris Wood, as Burnley face Norwich in game week 37. The now relegated Norwich have conceded 16 goals in 7 games since the restart, as well as surrendering plenty of big chances and chances from set pieces. This could bode well for Chris Wood, who is also on penalties for the Clarets. There are other players on the watch list this week, and this includes the Burnley defence, particularly Tarkowski, who is a threat from set pieces. Their opponents Norwich have only scored 1 single goal in 7 games since the restart, so statistically this means Burnley do have a very good chance of a clean sheet this week, and will be doing all they can to help goalkeeper Nick Pope as he remains in the race for the Golden Glove. Another player I've considered buying this week is Brighton's impressive attacker Leandro Trossard. Brighton face Newcastle at home this game week, and Newcastle come into this fixture on the back of 3 straight defeats as well as having many defensive injuries. If I kept Calvert-Lewin and chose to bench him this week, then I could bring in Trossard for Phil Foden. But with Man City facing Norwich at home in the final game week, that is surely a fixture that Phil Foden will play in, and I think it's probably worth holding him for that one. So with Calvert-Lewin to Chris Wood the likely transfer I'll make this week, here's how the team could line up. Game week 37 will see both of my Sheffield United defence come back into the team, at home to Everton, who have looked very poor going forward lately. It would, however, really sum up my season if Calvert-Lewin scores and wipes out this double clean sheet. If I am to bring in Chris Wood this week, then it's Phil Foden who would miss out away to Watford and sit first on my bench. He'll also provide very nice cover should any of my players get injured in the FA Cup. If Foden does start this game away to Watford, then it could very easily come back to haunt me. So making the Chris Wood transfer isn't essential this week, but I am leaning towards it. Foden's minutes are unpredictable, and Man City do have the FA Cup semi-final first as well. Whether Foden plays well or gets benched in this Watford fixture, either scenario would then lead me to play him at home to Norwich in the final game week anyway. For the captaincy this week, it currently sits with Anthony Martial, one of the league's most informed players who has returned double-figure hauls in each of his last 3 home games. This decision will partly be based on how West Ham get on this evening against Watford, because if West Ham do win that 6-pointer, they will more or less be safe from relegation, and could therefore take a step off the gas when it comes to playing United next, with the Red Devils still chasing a top 4 place. Of course, captaining a United player this week is a bit tricky because they do have that FA Cup semi-final to play first, but he is hoping that Martial will come out of that game unscathed and in an ideal world maybe even given some rest, with United hopefully prioritising the top 4 over the FA Cup. As for other options, Mo Salah remains in my consideration, because unlike other teams, he does have the luxury of an entire week off now before facing Chelsea, and should therefore be fresh and well rested to face his former club. The consistent Danny Ings is to a candidate away to Bournemouth, but I'm pretty set on leaving it with the Frenchman for game week 37. So that's my team and transfer thoughts as we head into the penultimate game week of the season. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if so, be sure to get subscribed to FPL TV. Good luck for this weekend, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all next week.